Hello folks, this is Tiny Games Lab and I want to show you my Game Jam overview. This is the game that I did for the weekly Game Jam 65 and my game is called Get That Gold. Okay, so week 65 theme was Watch Your Step, and when I saw the theme I said okay, I have no idea what I'm going to do, as always, no? So I was thinking, and I said, okay, the simple way I can do a game with steps is actually making stairs, no? So I thought, okay, I can make a game where I have stairs, maybe some spikes will come out of it, maybe some steps cannot be used, something like that. But then I decided, no, a stair is, I don't know, too obvious. So let's move on. I said, okay, maybe I can turn what I had, my idea I had for stairs into a grid or something like that. Have enemies. These enemies would have, I don't know, maybe a field of vision, and I would have the steps in itself being like coding the player movement. So I would code the player movement, I don't know, maybe move down 2 steps, wait, and then we have the enemies moving, and we have to keep out of the field of view of our enemies so we won't die, no? Something like that. And then I scratched this idea as I was going through. It still seems like a good idea to me, but I decided I wouldn't have time to code all that in to the game. I didn't have that much time for this weekly game jam. So what I did, I made a simple version of it. So I said, okay, the player has an objective. In this case I've used pirate, so I said, okay, player has to get to the X mark, but that's where usually pirates dig their gold. And I'll have a bunch of buttons showing up, movement buttons, and they would be randomly generated, and the player would have to use this to move. Okay, to add some difficulty to the game, also maybe create some different tiles. For example, this one, when the player moves on top of it, the tile disappears and you cannot go back. And the objective is always to reach that X marked tile. Okay, so let's go to Game Maker and I'll show you how I made it. Okay, so into Game Maker, I sped the video about 80 times so you don't have to bother watching me code for 5 hours. And okay, so basically what I did, I made some sprites, I made some state machine, simple state machine, and I started coding it to make it work now. So the first thing I did is, within the state machine, I tried the movement. So I was going to make a move left, right, up and down, and giving it some timer. Also, I've been switching between HTML5 and Windows targets, so I could work with both versions. My final version would be HTML5, I guess. Then also I created some direction for my enemies, and I created a line of sight. It did take me some time to get it right, the line of sight. I don't know, that was bad math, I guess. So after a couple hours trying it, it did work, but then I decided, okay, maybe the AI is gonna take too much work to figure out, and I don't have this time. Okay, also the movement was coded, so I could click any button, any direction, and the player would move. So I had to input a list, so I could actually have this movement go into a queue, and this queue would be run through, and the movement would go according to that. So these are the 2 things that I did right in the beginning of the game. Okay, and with that, after some debugging also for that, I finally made it work, and I added some of these lists, delete movement, made it able that I would click on the movement that was already pre-chosen and would go back into the initial list, and that worked out fine, I guess. I went to Illustrator, I started doing my sprites. I started with a simple tile, so grass tile, 2 colors, so I could have checkboard kind of effect. And then for the player, I started with simple shapes. I decided I would have a pirate in this game, so I gave it a wooden leg, I gave it a hook, I guess all pirates had hook back then, I guess. And I started adding some shadows and some highlights. It's not like a really perfect job, but it did work out great for this game, I guess. So I exported everything, imported everything back into GameMaker, figured out the white position, the depth and all that, and the game was working, I guess. So the next step was going to actually make something better for the target and the coins, so I would have the movement set by coins instead of my ugly sprites. So I made up, down, left and right coins and a move coin, so we'd click on this move coin and the movement would start. Also I made an empty space so people would see that you have empty space to actually be switching between the queue of your movement and what's not your movement. So the movement was working fine. It did take me some time also to get the move button to work. I don't think I got it right in the beginning, I got it maybe later on. That's when I got it working. Then I decided to add the levels, so I made level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, okay. I made all these coins and also I made a sand tile, okay. And I imported a sand tile, I tried it out, it was quite simple to make it disappear when the player moved over it, and also to give a screen shake effect. The problem I was having right now is that my collisions were not working, so I decided to turn everything off and check all my collisions boxes. And this took me quite a long time to get it work, because I would go over a spot and I would go over a water and I wouldn't die, and I couldn't figure it out. But then I realized I was just using the wrong collision checking function of GameMaker. Okay, so I made a initial room so I could pick my own room, and then I made all the code, so when I reached the final position I would go to the room picker and I would add to this room picker the number of the room, and in this way I could go through different rooms. So I made all 10 rooms. It was pretty fast. By this time I was running out of time, so I couldn't actually code a little bit more, something more intuitive into the rooms. Also I made some very simple sounds using BRXF, I guess, yes. And I had some fonts, add some volume, and for the background music, for all the sound effects I made, and that's basically it. So let's see how it turned out in the end. Okay, so this is the final game. So let's say, okay, I can pick a few directions, move them around if I want them, and I can click on move and the player will move. Okay, so let's say go up, left, there you go. And I have the 10 levels that I made. The first few ones are quite simple to get through. Sorry, we have some fireworks here. So the first simple are quite easy to get through. On the third level we finally see our first sand tile that drops when you go through it, and you can see there is some screen shaking effect and all that. Okay, so I go down and then okay, so it just gets a little bit more difficult as you play through. So in this case I'm going to show you. I'm going through one sand tile, second sand tile, and then it just keeps removing those tiles, you know. So let's see if I can actually finish this level without dying. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I'll be able to do it. I'll show you if I die what happens. Okay, went into water, died, but yeah, let's play it again and I'll be able to finish it. Let's see. That's the problem. I want to show you guys how to die, and then I do not get a way to go through the game without dying again, no? Maybe I should just played it and died when I had the chance. So yeah, you see it's all randomly generated, so you may not have a valid solution all the times. And I think, okay, that's just how piracy works, no? So you think you may have a way to get into that gold, but that's not always the case. and pirates die for no reason, right? So okay, so let's play just level 5. So now I started adding some narrower straights into the game, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. You see I have no way to finish the game because I have no right movement. Okay, I got one, and there we go. We finished this level also. Level 6. Oh, I'm screwed up. Let's see if I get enough right movements. Nope. And died. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, not that lucky yet. Let's see. And still not lucky enough, I guess. Okay, move up, move down, and there we go. So it's all random, so sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. And level 7. Okay, and in this case I actually cheated a little bit. So I gave the player a little bit higher chance of getting movement to the right as the level goes up. I did so because when I was playtesting the levels, I thought they were just too hard and people would get bored. But now in retrospect, maybe I should not have done that. I think the levels should be hard and people should have to play it over and over and over to get just that lucky chance to get to the final spot. Okay, and level 9. You see sometimes it just gets way too much right movements, and that's making the game just too easy and not enjoyable. See, I don't even have to lose this round, let's say, because I could just finish it if I wanted to. I'm just going to do the... There you go. And it's just not that much fun, and I'm sorry for that, guys. But okay, that's what I have, so... And that's the last level, the level number 10. You can see again, it's just became a little bit too easy because I kind of made this cheat to help out players. And at the end of the day, it just made the game too easy for them. But this is why you have to play test your games and try and try and try again. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I made this weekly game jam. And if you want to see more content like this, let me know. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. That helps out a lot. If you want to be notified when we get new videos out, please click on that bell button. And please leave a comment. You liked it, you didn't like it, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see next. I also want to give a shout out to your brother. Thank you for playing my game and giving my feedback on my game, so thank you very much for that. And I'll see you guys on the next video.